Alright, welcome back to the shop. My name is Steven. It's been a while since I made a video, well, other than building the plasma cutter, but it's been a while since we actually made something in the shop. And today we have an interesting piece to work on. Someone brought me this fuel rail for their car, and they want it tapped for one standard size on this side and a metric size on this side, tapped on these ends of both ends with this really funky shape that I had no idea how I was going to hold in my lathe, since my lathe is too small to shove this through a 4-jaw chuck. But as you can see, I have 3D printed a piece. Hopefully this fits and help centering this piece with a steady rest. And my thought was to have this turned between centers so I could shave this 3D piece to make it true to the center of this part, and then probably come in with a 4-jaw on this side so I could take the tailstock off and put the drill and tap in on this side. And the reason why I am not using a dog leg on this side is because once I take the tailstock off, there's no pressure holding this pin or whatever it's called, taper, holding this up while turning between centers. So I guess you're just gonna watch me try to turn this part out to the appropriate size as the customer wanted, and we'll see if this is gonna work. Okay, so this is my setup. I got kind of lazy to make a dog leg or something to go here. I figured since I was just turning plastic, this should be okay. I guess we'll find out. Since it does turn, and hopefully you can see that it's not quite concentric. So we're gonna shave a little off and hope for the best in terms of shoving this turned piece into a steady rest so we can tap either ends. Alright, I think this first step turned out pretty well. It's very smooth, it's very concentric, and I think part of the big wobbles that we were seeing earlier is when I initially test fit in, smash this in, it's not square to the piece, so that's why it kind of wobbles a little bit. But here we go on the next part. I'm going to throw on the steady rest and make sure it still spins between center to center, and then after that swap this out for a 4-jaw, and then we could chuck the part up, because once I take this pressure off, there's nothing holding this onto this taper to keep it centered. So I should be able to put a 4-jaw on here, clamp this awkward shape, and then use the indicator to run along these straight lines to make sure it's actually centered. And then we can come in with these very custom ground parts that the customer gave me to cut all the features he needs for the right taper size, to cut the taper later, and bosses for the O-ring that he needs, and then relief for the hex nuts, all in one bit. Man, this must have been expensive. But here we go. Let's try this out. think this worked out pretty well. This, I guess it's called a roll tap, was a lot harder for me to use than I'm used to, since it's not really cutting anything. It's trying to roll all the material outside, and I wasn't expecting to use so much force than anticipated since I was doing it by hand. But it seems like it cut the threads pretty well, and as you saw towards the end, this is the part that goes on this end. It seems like it goes far enough, though I don't think it goes quite all the way. There's a bit of a gap here, which I know an O-ring goes there, but I can't imagine an O-ring will fill up this entire part. But this is the tool that the customer gave me to cut it, and he had it custom ground to make it shorter, which I feel like maybe it's a hair too short since the tap can't get all the way in. But it's what they provided, so this is what I'm using. Maybe he'll come back and tell me to modify it again, who knows. But since this turned out so well, I think I'm gonna try to press this out. It's pretty stuck, and smash it into this end, turn this side, and that's it for this part. And then he has a plug that he wants me to also tap this plug for, I believe, this size. Yeah, this goes in here, and another custom tool he purchased here to cut this hole for this Schrader valve. So let me press this out and flip it around. Okay, this roll tab is a real pain. Not sure how well you can see, but you kind of have to inch it by hand. I'm pretty sure you're not supposed to use this by hand, but this is what he insisted on doing. Not sure if I got far enough into the hole, and I don't have a fitting here to try it out. So I think this is all I need to do on this piece, and I will move on to finishing this piece with this drill that is meant to fit this Schrader valve. And I think that is everything. But yeah, let's finish this up. This is probably the last time this will ever be used. Maybe I tried to tap it too far and I got crushed at the very end. So I'm pretty sure the custom tool he gave me was grinded a little too much, and I don't think there's enough crush on this O-ring, and this side is even worse because this piece is even longer. Threaded part is even longer. So, but I think this turned out pretty good, and I was surprised by how well this worked. So that'll be all for this video. Stay tuned to watch what else I do for other people and whatever strange projects they got going on that they need me to help them solve. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next one.